So we are continuing from verse 7 today. Please recite after me. Sansara sagaram ghoram
Samsarasaгаram goram
tartum ichhati yo naraha
tartumichati yo naraha
gita navam samasadhya
gitanavam samasadhya
param yati sukhena saha.
param yati sukhena saha.
So yes, this verse tells that any person who wish to cross this ocean of birth and death. So what he need to do is Sansar Sagaram Ghoram. This sansar, this world is Sagaram Ghoram. Sagaram means the ocean. This world is like an ocean, and that ocean is Ghoram. Ghoram means it's very difficult to cross this ocean of birth and death. Tartum ichhati yo naraha. Yo naraha means any person who wishes to ichhati, who wishes to tartum ichhati yo naraha, who wishes to cross this ocean. Then what he need to do? Gita navam samasadhya. He needs to take the shelter of this boat of Bhagavad Gita. And then he can param yati sukhenasa. He can easily cross this ocean of birth and death, and he can he can he will achieve happiness, supreme happiness in his life. Param yati sukhenasa. Param means supreme. So he will achieve supreme happiness. So crossing the ocean of birth and death here doesn't mean liberation. Liberation, for example, liberation of. Have you heard about Sayujya Mukti? So, Sayujya Mukti is something in which a person he wishes to merge himself with God. So he wishes something like that. So here we are not talking about that liberation. Here liberation means going back to Godhead. Getting liberated from this material world and going back to Godhead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's very deep. uh, I really like this verse, and the word that I was familiar with was samsara. So, but thank you. You explained it very well, and
Okay, moving forward now. Please recite after me. Gita Gyanam Shrutam Neva
Gita Gyanam Shrutam Naiva
Sadeva Abhyas Yogataha
Sadeva Vyasa Yogataha
Moksham Ichhati Mugdhatma
Mokshamichati Muktatma
Yati Balak Hasyatam.
Yati Balakahasyatam.
Now, this one is very interesting verse where Srila Sukdev Goswami is telling to Shaunak Rishi that Gita Gyanam Shrutam Naiva. Any person, he does not hear the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And Sadev Abhyasa Yogatah, he is always putting his efforts in practicing yoga and not bhakti yoga like other yoga. He is practicing those yoga. Moksham ichhati mugdhatma, and that person, he is ichhati, he is aspiring for moksham, means liberation. So that person is actually mugdhatma. He is foolish. Why? Because he is not hearing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So see, who will take the exam of death? Lord Krishna, because he is the Supreme Personality and he will only take the exam of death, whether any person is qualified to go back to him or not. And if any person is not hearing his instruction, then how is it possible for him to get liberate from this material world? So that's why he is Mugdhatma, he is foolish. Yati balak hasyatam. And Yati means he is a sannyasi. He is a nice, renounced person. But he is actually balak hasyatam. He is, uh, he is, he is someone to whom one should laugh on. Hasyatam means one should make joke of him, that he want to liberate from this material world and he is not hearing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. He is foolish, number one, and one should make his joke because he is foolish. So this is amazing verse. It's very important for one who is aspiring for liberation that he hears this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, ultimate purpose of life is not to get liberated from this material world, but to get the love of Godhead. So yes, moving forward, please recite after me. Ye शृण्वन्ति पठन्त्येव
Ye Shrinvanti Padantyeva
गीताशास्त्रम् अहर्निशम्
Gita Shastram Aharnisham
न ते वै मानुषा गेया
Natevai Manushagenaya
देवरूपा न संशयः.
Devarupana Samshayaha.
Very interesting words. See, ye shrunvanti pathanteva. Now, any person who is reading this auspicious knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Shastram, he is pathanteva, he is reading or hearing. Shrunvanti means hearing, pathanteva means reading. This auspicious knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, aharnisham. Ahar means in morning, nisham means at evening or night. Means he is hearing, he is reading the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita every day. Nate vai manusha gyeya. One should not consider him as an ordinary human being. Deva Rupana Sanshayah. He is definitely a demigod. So, yes, Sut Goswami is glorifying that person who is inclined towards hearing or reading the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So, dear Eunice Mataji, you are a demigod and I pay my obeisances to you. Please accept it. You are not an ordinary human being. Any person who is reading Bhagavad Gita, who has inclination to understand Bhagavad Gita, he is not an ordinary human being, and Krishna himself tells this in Bhagavad Gita. It's a very amazing verse. Moving forward. Gita Gyanen Sambodham
Gita Gyanan Sambodham
Krishna Praha Arjunaya Vai
Krishna Praharjunaya Vai
Bhakti Tattvam Param Tatra
Bhakti Tattvam Param Tatra
Sagunam Vath Nirgunam
Sagunam Vata Nirgunam
Gita Gyanena Sambodham Krishna Praha Arjunaya Vai. Praha means to speak, to tell. So Krishna told this Gita Gyanena, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. He told this knowledge to Arjuna. Bhakti Tattvam Param Tatra. Why did he tell this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? because he wanted to declare this thing that Bhakti Tattvam means Bhakti Yoga is the supreme, it's the highest process. Sagunam Vath Nirgunam. And any person, one should know this thing that any person who is serving Krishna, who is doing bhakti of Krishna, he is immediately situated in transcendental mode. Transcendental means beyond the modes of this material nature, material world. So there are three modes of this material nature: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Tamogun, rajogun, and satogun. So
Yeah.
these are material modes. But transcendental is something which is beyond. So this is very interesting point which one should understand. Whatever you are doing in relation to Krishna, you might be cooking for Krishna, you might be cleaning your house if you have DT at your home and you're cleaning your house. So you're actually cleaning the temple of Krishna. If you are going market to take groceries or whatever things, you will be offering it to Krishna. So these are all transcendental activities because you are doing it for Krishna. And the moment you are doing anything for Krishna, you are immediately free from the trap of Maya, the illusory energy of Krishna. So, Lord Krishna gave this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna to declare that this Bhakti Tattvam, this Bhakti Yoga is the highest. It's Param. So, yes,
So it's more than karma yoga.
definitely. Bhakti Yoga is the highest and top. So, basically, Krishna explained about other processes also, other yoga processes. But the intention is that we will, in next verse only, we will discuss about this, that the intention is that person, he starts from karma yoga and then he will, practice other yogas in his life: ashtang yoga, gyan yoga, dhyan yoga, whatever yoga. But the ultimate purpose is that he reach to the bhakti yoga, because this is the highest supreme destination, that one practice bhakti yoga in his life and then he go back to Godhead. He
Yeah.
serves Krishna and he go back to Godhead. So
Yeah.
this is the purpose of speaking, of telling this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. See, we will understand this in this next verse. Please recite after
Mm.
me. Sopan ashdasharevam
Sopanashtadashairevam
Bhukti Mukti Samruchatay
Bhukti Mukti Samuchridaya
Kramashah Chitta Shuddhi Syat
Kramashah Chitta Sudhisya
प्रेम भक्त्यादि कर्मसु
Prema Bhakti sorry
भक्त्यादि
Prema
कर्म.
Bhaktyadi Karmasu.
Yes. So this verse gives the answer of for your question. Sopan ashtadashairevam. Sopan means ladder. Do you understand ladder? Yes.
Yeah.
Ashtadash. Asht means 8, dash means 10. So 18. So you will see how many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita? 18.
18. Yes.
So these 18 chapters are like ladder. Just like you will see on a ladder, we go one by one at top. We can't jump. We go one by one at top. So this Bhagavad Gita is the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are like ladder, and Bhukti Mukti Samuchyate. Any person, he is understanding the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in sequence. So, what will happen? He will get relieved from bhukti. Bhukti means the desires for sense gratification. He will he will get relief from the desires of sense gratification. Mukti, he will get relief from the desire of liberation. See, please understand this thing. Sense gratification is definitely not good, because a person is, his business is to gratify his senses, and he's not caring about Krishna. Mukti is also not good. Why? Because in mukti, person is desiring that I want to get relief from whatever sufferings and pains I am experiencing in my life. So in mukti also, he is not desiring to serve Krishna or to love Krishna. That's why mukti is also not good. Mukti means liberation from this material world, because he is desiring that I want to liberate from this material world so that I may end my sufferings, my pains, whatever I get from other people or from my body. So basically, I don't want to suffer. But he is not desiring to serve Krishna or to love Krishna. So that's why liberation is also not good. So that's why it's mentioned here, bhukti mukti samuchyate. So that person, he is understanding this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in sequence. So he will get above. He will get rid from all these desires of sense gratification and liberation. Samruchyate means he will stand up. Stand up means he will leave these desires back. He will not be interested in these desires of sense gratification and getting liberated from this world. Kramashah chitta shuddhi syat. And how will this happen? Kramashah means gradually, when his chitta, his consciousness will get purified. Shuddhi syat. So you will also observe this thing, that you are not at the same stage. When you started Krishna consciousness, you were at different stage, and now as you are continuing your devotional practices, you're not at the same stage. You have progressed. Why? Because your consciousness has purified. So possibility might be there, which happens that we Krishna consciousness was not our priority. We knew that, yeah, Krishna consciousness is nice, we should serve Krishna, but many times we were neglecting. But now, as we consistently practice Krishna consciousness in our lives, whatever devotional services, so we become more fixed, more stable. Why? Chitta Shuddhi Syat, because our consciousness is getting purified. And thus, Prema Bhaktayadi Karmasu. And uh, when this consciousness gets purified, then that person, he is inclined towards serving Krishna with his heart, prema, lovingly, and he aspire to get the love of Godhead. And karmasu means he indulge himself in such activities which will invoke love for Krishna in his heart. So, just like we cook food, we were cooking our foods earlier also, but now we offer it to Krishna. Why? Because it is pleasing to Krishna. So, we ourselves plan that no, first I'll offer this food to Krishna and then I'll honor the remnants of the Lord. So, this way, gradually, when our consciousness gets purified, then we ourselves want to serve Krishna lovingly with our hearts. So this is what it is called understanding in sequence. Now, one more amazing thing one should understand here, that any person who is directly practicing bhakti yoga, so it is not happening by chance. We have already, practiced so much austerities in our lives, in our past lives. That's why now we are inclined towards bhakti yoga. Because you will see other people also, they are also inclined towards, spirituality, but they will not follow bhakti yoga. They will follow other processes of spirituality. So they are not inclined towards bhakti yoga. That means they still have to practice some austerities in their lives. So it is not happening by chance that we are practicing bhakti yoga. We are continuing it from our past lives.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, very
Yes.
profound.
So now, we can continue next verse in our maybe tomorrow,
Mhm.
because our time is over. If you have any question, you can ask, or anything you want to share.
So, uh, the reason I brought up karma yoga was because you mentioned how we involve God in our daily activities. So I had heard that in this way, it's practicing karma yoga. But of course, when you take it to the next stage, then uh, is that how you transform it to bhakti yoga? Because prema is, I thought, is very sublime, a very high, elevated masters are experiencing the ecstasy of prema.
Yes.
Would
So
you?
let's understand this. Karma yoga means you are doing your karma and you are, you know, leaving the results to Krishna. But you are not doing it with love. Bhakti yoga is all about love. You are doing it with your heart and you are not aspiring anything in return. You just want to please Krishna. Your desire is to just please Krishna, that, oh, my Lord, be satisfied. So, this is bhakti yoga, which is not easy. It's not easy to, we are doing any service and we don't aspire for any results or any outcomes, but this happens. It's clearly mentioned here. When person, he is doing it consistently, he is practicing karma yoga, he is, doing karma for Lord, but as gradually his consciousness will purify, then he will do it for Krishna with love. And he will not desire to have anything in return. No any materialistic desires or whatsoever. He just want to please Krishna. So this is Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. So shall we stop here now?
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Hare Krishna.